What's up, you guys? Happy Sunday, and welcome back to your favorite podcast with your favorite girl who's in her favorite era, which is not being fucking pregnant anymore. Welcome back. I am your host, Des, also known as DESB. If you're a new listener, hey. If you're not a new listener, hello again. It's good to see you, good to hear you. I guess I'm not really hearing much, but isn't it good to hear me? You know, upbeat, happy, excited, proud, all good things. If you listened to my episode last week, we talked all things birth story, all things hoo-ha, and what's going on down there. And today, I wanted to jump in here and chat, give you guys a little bit of a postpartum update, as well as just converse. You know, this postpartum era for me has just been so amazing. I'm glowing. I'm thriving. Like baby blues, who? Postpartum depression, who? DESB, slay. You know, like that's where I really feel. And this is by no means a space of flexing, you know, oh, I'm thriving and you're not. Like that's not what it's about. You guys know, if you know me hardcore, if you've listened to my story, you know how hard I've had it. You know how terrible my pregnancy and postpartum experiences have been in the past. And so for me to have this, I share my positivity, number one, to get anyone else out of the trenches, because we can still go through the trenches, but find positivity in our day. But also, if you have been through a traumatic experience yourself, or if you in the future end up having one, I hope you can look to me and my stories to remember you're still a bad bitch. Your body's still badass. You can get through this and you can have redemption. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I just feel like this journey has been for me so much in the past couple of weeks now, almost a month already, is I just feel like I'm riding off this continued high of like, I fucking did that, you know? And so it just feels good to be here. You know, I'm speaking to millions, and not really, but that's how delusional I feel. I'm just like, yeah, everyone cares. In reality, they don't. So what's new with you guys? Make sure if you're on YouTube, if you're watching me, comment below. I do have a cute outfit on today. Honestly, like popping the fuck off with this color. Who else? Who do you think created this? Who do you think Petula? We talk about them every fucking episode, I swear to God. But wow, snapped. This is the Summer Days collection that I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Flex bodysuit in the 26-inch, and then I'm wearing the Resort button down in this color nectarine. It's so stunning. It's so gorgeous. I'm looking at myself in the camera right now. I'm like, this is just, it's giving. Like it's giving summer. It's giving end of summer. It's giving postpartum, nursing friendly, whip a titty out. Like I love it. I'm wearing a medium and a medium. These launched yesterday. I've said this in the past too. Petula doesn't really like sell out, you know, which I really love about them. I love that they always have stock. I love that it doesn't have to be this extreme scramble to get to the website and then just be pissed off that you lost what you had in your cart. They do a really good job at understanding their audience and having a really good amount of stock. So this is probably still available. Like I said, I'm wearing a medium. And you can use code DESB for 5% off. So like, why would you not, you know? Besides that, we had the Petula Summer Days launch yesterday. We had the Buff Bunny Juicy collection launch yesterday. We had the Hydro Jug Montessera right here. You guys can see it off to the side, my water. Leaf, Hydro Jug, Montessera Leaf Traveler release yesterday. It was a busy weekend, okay? A busy weekend of spending money, all right? But I will say, let's take a sip together first. Cheers. I got a little bit of my lip gloss on there. My lip oil balm. This creator, you know, I'm going to be very transparent. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think her name's like Iskara. I don't know. She is the founder of the brand Saltair, which you might have seen around town. You might see on Amazon. You might see in stores, you know, whatever. They have a lip oil balm that she sent to me. I'm wearing the color Prickly Pear on my lips right now. It's probably going to be gone by the end of this episode. But this shit is $9, guys. It's like e.l.f. Cosmetics, but like ramped up. It's got coconut oil in it. It's comfortable. It's tinted. It's really, really pretty. And don't tell Hailey Bieber, I like this lip oil balm way more than I like her lip peptides. The peptides are so thick and so like so fucking so what's the word? Sticky. They're so sticky. So I really like this product. It's only $9. And so, yeah, anyway, this creator, like I said, Iskara, I think her name is. Gosh, I wish I knew. She has a little boy. She's married, and she is pregnant right now with her second, and she's having a girl. So she came across one of my reels, probably, maybe a couple months ago, maybe a month ago now. And so she started following me, and she was like DMing me. And at first I thought it was like fake, because she has like 5.4 million followers. She's like a Ford model. Like, she's gorgeous. She's stunning. Anyway, so then she was like, oh my gosh, let me send you some goodies. So she sent me this huge box of Saltair stuff, which I've never tried their stuff before. I actually almost bought their deodorant when I was looking for a postpartum deodorant, but the Mega Babe brand that I had used, the Space Bar and then the Dio, was on sale. So I just like bought that instead, to be like, with all due respect, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, that's her brand. That's nuts. So I didn't actually know that when she started following me. And then, yeah, she was like, let me send them to you. I was like, what the fuck? So super cool. And then I unboxed it, and she like reposted me and was like, I've loved her pregnancy content in my pregnancy, like whatever. I was like, that's so nice. She like didn't have to repost me. Speaking of reposts, Brittany Mahomes, they couldn't make me hate you, baby. Okay. They could never make me hate you. You guys know I'm a B Mahomes stan. Have been, will be, will continue to be. Okay. Love her. With that being said, number one, she's having a girly pop. Third baby, when they announced that they were pregnant again, I was shook. Number one, because she looked hot. She looked so hot. No wonder she got pregnant again. But also I was like, damn, she really has come back from her second baby, from having bronze. Good for her. Like, she's really put in the work. Maybe they've completed their family. And the only reason I then speculated that, and again, hey, I'm assuming here, is she got her boobs done. And I was like, oh, if she wanted to get her boobs done, I would only assume she would wait till after, kids. And I think she only got them done like within, under a year. So was the third planned? I don't know. Guess what? Not her fucking business. Doesn't matter. But happy for her. With that being said, Hawaiian shaved ice was revamped a few weeks ago. And see, we're catching up on all this stuff I haven't really been able to talk about, right? Because we had like episodes pre-recorded. You get it. Hawaiian shaved ice was rebranded. I've only taken a couple sips because it's just, ooh, like the taste of my tongue. Like, that's where I'm feeling. So this is really good. She rebranded it they rebranded it with her, and they restocked it. And then, it's got a different flavor profile. So cheers again. I'm going to have a sip. Just a little kick, okay? A lot of people are always like, oh my God, can you drink those breastfeeding? Yeah. Like, you can. I'm not your doctor. Talk to your own, But at the end of the day, as long as I stay under 200 milligrams of caffeine still breastfeeding, that's where I stay. That's why you won't catch me drinking a full one. But if I want a few sippy dippies, or, I want to go halvesies, I'm going to do it. And I will say, on the cans, it says, do not drink if pregnant or breastfeeding. Okay. If you look at like almost any supplement, it's going to say that because it's called covering your fucking ass as a business. Okay. Would you ever want someone to come back and say, hey, you didn't put this on your can, so now I'm suing you for $2.9 million trillion? Probably not. It's kind of like Wendy's. Didn't one time they put the chili in and they like gave it to someone, or no, fuck. It was a Chili's thing that you can look that up too. But recently, McDonald's, okay, a parent was handing their chicken nugget back to their kid in a car or something. The chicken nugget maybe like fell out or something, and it burnt their kid. They then sued McDonald's because the fucking chicken nugget was too hot. And I don't know if like on the nugget casing itself, like if it said like it didn't have anything about temperature, I don't know, but they'll find a way. Okay. So Alani, any other type of company, they're always going to cover their ass and say, do not consume if pregnant or breastfeeding. Kind of like you shouldn't get Botox if you're pregnant or breastfeeding too, right? Like, they're not going to ethically test on pregnant women. So that's why you'll never see stuff like that be like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Because like, who's just going to be like, I'll be the one, I'll volunteer as tribute, test on me, In this case, I'd be like, yeah, I'll drink all the energy drinks in the world. Just, run your tests and let me know. I would guinea pig for that. But in essence, you shouldn't. So that's kind of what's new with like launches and stuff. Oh my gosh, we're only like a month away from our 6 weeks to strength challenge, which is very exciting. I'm so pumped because I'm going to be taking you guys through it with my first challenge postpartum. And I haven't even like worked out since being pregnant. I've done some walks, I'm doing laundry, I'm picking up my kids, whatever. I've done activity, but when it comes to like a glute workout or something like that, I haven't. I've only done like my core work. I did go to a pelvic floor therapist as well, so I have some additional, it's all core work that I've done already. I definitely didn't get any new intel by going to them, but I do have a routine knowing what I can do, and it's kind of laid out for me for a few times a week based on also like my back. So that was very helpful. But that's really all I've been doing. So with 6 weeks of strength coming up, I'm excited because it'll kind of be also me really and truly getting back in the gym as well. And I'm going to be doing it alongside you guys. So last challenge of the year, 6 weeks, truly pregnancy and postpartum related. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. Also, we're nearing the month of August. For the month of August, if you become a BFit member, you get the Strong Ass Mom program for free for the month. Okay. It's going to be under the plans tab as a member. Now, after the month of August, you don't get it, but you will get a discount on it if you want to try it out. That's going to lead right into our strength challenge. And then the pregnancy guide and stuff will be released as well. So we have a lot going on, like super exciting. We have so many new one-on-one clients that have come into DBFT. It's fucking awesome. We have so many moms. I actually just had one of my clients today. We just finished our first 3 months together. She's literally down 20 pounds. She looks so fucking different. She feels so confident. She ended up having to have a meniscus repair. So she's a little bit down for the count for the past couple weeks in terms of activity, but we're maneuvering back through it. And her nutrition has stayed on point. I'm just so proud of her. But we've just had so much transformation lately within our one-on-one coaching. And it's so important to me because I've done one-on-one coaching since I've started. Like that was my first form of online training, was being a one-on-one coach. Before I was an influencer, before I had codes, before I, did a podcast, like I train one-on-one because I fucking love one-on-one coaching. And I love in-person coaching. And I was a great in-person trainer and like fitness instructor, group fitness, all the things. And so having one-on-one coaching always is what brings me back to my roots. Like influencer stuff, promoting Petula, that's all cherries on top. At the end of the day, I love working with women. I love transforming with them. I love helping them transform and find confidence again and feel sexy again. All the good things. That's what I love to do. And so to see all of these new one-on-one clients come in, it's just so special because our relationships with them are so intimate. And a lot of these people I'm talking to are like, oh, I've followed you for years. And, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to them on the phone or on a video call. And it's just so special to be able to connect with so many of you out there and be able to then take care of you, so intimately. And I just love it. So just so many like snaps and claps, for all of our girlies out there. We are all just truly thriving and killing it. So that's kind of what's new in my neck of the woods. What's new, kind of, I don't want to say like promo wise, but man, we haven't been able to really talk in a couple of weeks. And even last week for my birth episode, I was like, you know what? I just want to dive the fuck right in. Let's not waste time. Let's not twiddle our thumbs and play with our dicks. Let's get to it. Okay. No reason to flick the bean. Let's just get into the scene. You know what I'm saying? So thank you again for listening last week. If you did, if you haven't, go back and listen to it. I personally am a slut for a birth story. I love popping it open for a birth story, but also if you're someone who's going to give birth soon or wants to, even in the future, it's just a good episode, I think, to feel super confident in knowing that that's what your body's made for. And also just to hear like how different births can be too. If you go back and listen to my first birth story with Maddox, listen to Archie, listen to this one, every birth is so different. And so I think it's really cool. But outside of that, I did finish, finally, for fuck's sake, the Vanderpump Rules series, guys. It has taken me, when did we start that? I think like last October I started binging it. I took like a 4 to 5 month hiatus, don't get me wrong. And within the past 2 months, about probably like 6 weeks or so, we finished it. All fucking 11 motherfucking seasons with literally so many episodes per season, I swear to God. We finished it. We did it. I have one more episode of the reunion for season 11. That's it. So we're like caught up real time. It has been one for the books. All right. The next series I want to start is Love Island because I want to see Ariana host it. So don't ruin it for me. Don't tell me who won and shit. I know who won, but like, don't tell me all the details. Okay. Like I'm good. I want to do it. I want to watch it because I really love Ariana. And I heard that this season was just like super good. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what the fuck Love Island does. You know, like I don't even know the emphasis of the show. I don't know the premise of the show. I don't know what they win, who they do, what they can do. Like zero clue. I am dumb when it comes to that, but I'm excited to learn. So that's kind of what's next on my list. I've literally not watched anything else. I've not even been like on YouTube. I genuinely lay down in bed. I turn on YouTube TV. I go to Vanderpump Rules and I binge it. That is all I've been doing. But I do think, number one, I think there might be a new season of Welcome to Plathville, and that is one of my favorite bullshit, shitty TLC shows ever. Please watch it if you have not. And also a new series or a new season of Pretty Little Lies comes on September 4th, I think. Which I love that series. If you guys have not watched Pretty Little Lies, it's good. Oh my God, it's good. I didn't think I would like it. And then my sister was like, you got to watch. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck, fine, whatever. So I started watching it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did. Same goes with, it's old, but like Firefly Lane. If you have not watched that series, like so good. Same with Dead to Me, so good. Like I'm trying to just think of some series I've watched where if you're maybe on, you know, you're like, fuck, what do I watch right now? Like you should are those. Also Ted Lasso. I know we recapped that last fall, but damn, Ted Lasso was so fucking good. Oi, God, I miss it so much. And have you ever watched Glee? I'm just kidding. So anyways, that's TV wise. I'm so serious. That's all I've watched. I've just been filling my brain with that. And it's been healing. You know, it's been healing. I've really been able to take the reality into consideration and just vibe with it, which has been really good. Next week, I'm hoping to have Wyatt on, not only to talk a little bit of like life and stuff and just stick around, but also really want to do a parenting advice episode. So last call, if you have any advice that you need as parents, whether it's just singularly like you as a mom, like, hey, Des, how do I do this? Or as a dad, if your husband, like send it to your husband and be like, hey, submit something for Des's husband, you know, like do it. Or if you guys are just going through something, like we're not perfect, but you know, like we do consider ourselves, like if we were friends with other parents, like we would be the ones to like soundboard off of, right? That's exactly what we are. We're not going to diagnose and create a solution to your problem, but we're good soundboards. I'll say that. And we do really want to play our game again. So if you haven't listened to that episode, that was 2 weeks ago, but Wyatt and I played this like word game. Dude, it was so much fun, but we definitely need to have a better strategy this next time so we don't forget the words that we said, which was so embarrassing. Let's have a quick little message from our sponsor, BetterHelp, as always, my favorite therapy service and one that I am currently using. And then we'll finish up with a little postpartum chat. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. I talk about BetterHelp a lot, seeing as that it's benefited me in the past 2 years. Some people think, you know, maybe, oh, things have to get really bad until you can go to therapy. You're like, I'm not depressed. Why do I need therapy? But really, therapy is a tool to where you're using it before things were to get worse and to avoid being at your lowest low. I don't know about you, but why the fuck would you want to get to your lowest low before you climb out to the top again, right? BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video and even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to see anyone on your camera. You don't have to wear pants. You don't even have to put on pajamas. You could be naked wherever you're at and do a therapy session with your therapist. So for me personally, I like to put my AirPods in. I'll walk around my desk room. I'll go for a walk outside when it's nice out, whatever it may be. And that's what works for me. It is customizable and it is more affordable than most in-person therapy. Give it a try. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. And girls, don't forget to get on BetterHelp.com/DESB and put in that discount code. If you forget that, you do not get that 10% off your first month. And that is the deal with being a listener of Brunch with DESB. The fact that I'm almost a month postpartum now is crazy because I do feel like I can actually like talk on it, you know, instead of it just being like, hey guys, I'm 1 week postpartum. Here's how I'm feeling. You know, a lot can change in a couple weeks and a couple months, but specifically 1 month recap, kind of exciting. You know, it's already been a month. Let me tell you what, it goes by so fast. And it goes by so fast, especially when you have multiples, because I feel like throughout the past month, I've seen so much change in all of the kids at once. And I don't know if it's just because I brought Evie home and then you realize how, much older your other kids are, or if it's just like they're all in this like evolution right now of growing, and it's crazy. So I'm very, very happy to see their growth, but it also makes me very, very sad. That's probably the only place I've seen my like postpartum blues come into place, is thinking about them like getting older, and it does make me sad because I'm like, wow, for so long, I just wished away this time because it was always so traumatic to me. And now that I don't want it to pass, it feels like it's passing faster. You know what I mean? And so I'm trying so hard to be present and like try to find this really good balance between work, life, and also the understanding that like you can always work harder. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to take a step back from life, and this just goes for anyone too, if you're like a mom who you're like, hey, I think I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years and then I'll go back to work in the future. It's like, if we make those conscious decisions, like there's always room to go back and like work harder. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. So by me taking like a step back in XYZ, I know that when I'm ready, I can also really step in and like crush it in XYZ, but I'd prefer now to take a step back knowing that I don't get this time back in my life, And one of the songs that have really struck a chord with me recently, and you guys know we almost named Evie Eleonora and Vienna because I loved Vienna, Wyatt loved Eleonora. But I love the song Vienna by Billy Joel. And if you haven't listened to that song, even in a while or ever, go listen to it and really listen to the lyrics, because there's this one part in the second chorus where he's kind of singing about put down the phone, like get off the line. You can afford a few days off. Like, go enjoy life, basically, is what he's saying in the song. And the art of what the word Vienna means is it basically means like growing old, life, the afterlife, etc. That's, Vienna. So when he says Vienna waits for you, it's kind of like slow down, just like he says, slow down, you're doing fine. It's like slow down in the now, because no matter what, we're going to age, no matter what, we're going to get older, no matter what, all of a sudden that time we're thinking about is going to be our present. So I've really been sinking into that song lately and just trying to remember that it's okay to take steps back. And even if you have to sacrifice something, like in a place of your life to take a step back, I'd rather do that to enjoy this small amount of time that my kids are little. Because there is only really, I think they technically kind of say like 5 or 6 summers you get with your kids. In terms of, they're not in school yet. Maybe they don't have friends that they want to go to their houses or something or whatever. And then all of a sudden they're 18, 16, they're driving, they're gone. You don't see them as often. They're in school. Like, it happens, and it happens fast, and it breaks my heart. It's a beautiful evolution and part of life regardless, but it's sad, and I know at one point Wyatt and I are going to be looking at each other, and it's just, I don't want to tear up. Why am I going to? And it's just going to be us, and then you're like, holy fuck, when did we get here? And I'm like tearing up about it. It's just such a beautiful part of life. Parenting cannot be replaced, but man, there's a part of you that I wish I still had the ignorance of not understanding how to feel so deeply for someone. Like, the love you have for your kids is like such a different level. And the love you have for your partner, seeing your partner as a father, as a wife, whoever, it's like that love is also so deep that everything else you picture coming with it feels worse, right? Thinking of them growing up hurts worse. Thinking of you being only a part of their life hurts worse. And it's hard. It's hard. I miss the days when it was just me. And even being with Wyatt, like, I didn't think that deeply about the emotional, at the emotional level of like, oh my gosh, one day one of us will leave each other, and that sounds terrible. And I'm talking about like departing like the world. Okay. I'm not talking about just leaving each other. And now you adding kids, and those feelings are so much more rampant, So I'm trying to stay so in the moment, realizing again, Vienna waits for me anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And I hope that can be a message even to you guys out there today who are just maybe trying to just rush through this current part of your life anyway. You don't have to have kids. You can just have a fucking dog or a ferret. I don't give a shit. But rushing through the now, you're going to regret it. And in some days I find myself doing it and I know I'm going to regret it. And even the first couple days of postpartum, as present as I was, I wanted to get them over with because I was like so tired of bleeding and it sucked to get up and all these things. And now I'm like, oh, I wish I could sit in that day again. You know what I mean? It's like you always regret wishing a day away. And so I'm trying to wake up and just mentally choosing to stay present in this day and to be so grateful for this day and to be so grateful that I'm healthy and my kids are healthy and my husband's healthy and we have a house, we have cars, we have roof over our head, the sun is shining, we're alive, all of these things, is I'm trying to find so much gratitude in that typically I would just kind of overlook, and you do have to actively choose to have that mindset. And it's not always easy. And you don't have to have it every day, right? We will fall into those mental days of like, fuck this, I just want it to be the weekend or whatever it might be. But I really encourage you when you feel those emotions to just sit in the present moment and just like ground yourself. This is my reality. This is my day-to-day. Let's do it, So that's kind of where my postpartum blues have like come in, is more so like knowing that time passes and you can't control it. I've also opened up about this too, and I think I've just had a few harder days in moments here and there. And I want to just trigger warn this, however I really can, just about like let's call it just like intrusive thoughts, okay? So if you don't want to listen to it because it makes you spiral by just like listening to content on that, please fast forward, okay? I'll try to put the timestamps below so you can skip past this part. But I have also really dealt with a lot of intrusive thoughts regarding D ATH. I don't even want to say the word out loud because I hate putting that energy out there. Departure from the universe, and it was honestly just triggered by like a quote I saw on like a reel or something. And it was like, realizing that you are only a part of your kids' lives, God willing. Right. And it struck a chord because it just made me emotionally start to panic and be like, holy fuck, I don't get to see I don't get to see my kids grow up. Like, I don't know why I'm crying about this. Like, it's inevitable. But talking about D ATH is so hard because I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have already lost people who are close to you. Maybe you've even lost and had to say goodbye to your own parents already, at a young age. And I don't know what that feels like, but I can only imagine the pain. And the hard thing about it is that when I say, oh, I don't know what it feels like, the reality is, for anyone, I don't know what it feels like yet, And so postpartum hormones are already a bitch, but I think a lot of it has to do with those thoughts. And it's just manifested very differently for me. And so I can start to spiral just knowing that it's inevitable. And I just can't picture, God, this makes me so emotional. Woo! I can't picture my life without my village, But one day, there will be a life without my village. And like, how do you prepare for that? How do you heal from that? And again, if you are someone who has lost someone close to you, maybe just drop something below in the comments. And just maybe encourage someone who could be going through the same thing right now. And anything that's brought you peace, brought you clarity. And I think that's why a lot of people cling on to things like religion, Christianity, that I've still really been battling with, because you pray that there's something in the afterlife, you know, and that's what clings you to not having a fear of passing. You know, you have a little bit of a little bit of a pathway. You know what's going to happen after that happens to you or to someone you love. And it might give you a little bit of like a sense of security of like, oh yeah, I'm not as scared of it now because I know what the afterlife looks like. To me, I don't fall into the category of like religion and spirituality anymore, or right now in my current life. And so for me, when I think of the passing of anyone or myself, I don't know what's going to happen, you know? And again, I think that's why a lot of people do cling to religion, is because in your mind, you know what's going to happen. So you can kind of sleep easy at night. But I don't want to fall into that just for this sense of security for me. I'm not there right now, and I'm still exploring everything, you know? And so that's where I've really been. Sorry, that got so emotional for a second. Isn't it funny how you can just cry and then be like, anyways, but I think that's why I've had these spiraling thoughts some nights. And I've tried to snap myself out of it by audibly talking to myself. Des, you're healthy. Hey, you know, I even like tap my body. Like I even just like, I touch myself. That sounded wrong. I touch myself. I tap my body. I put my feet on the ground. If I can get some fresh air, I try to get fresh air. Just present. I'm here. I'm good. My family's good. I'm good. I'm healthy. I have a shelter. The grass is green. The sky is blue. Like I try to verbalize anything I can to ground myself in the current moment and get out of those thoughts. And I don't think it's anything that is uncommon or something I need to seek help for outside of my therapy, like right now. If it started to debilitate my life, things would take a turn, right? But it has been, I've only noticed these thoughts creeping back in since I had Evie. And so I really do like put a lot of that energy into the idea of being postpartum, having this little bit of like postpartum anxiety, postpartum emotions just naturally. And I know I'm going to get through it. And I know that each day, again, I'm choosing to wake up and be so grateful that my dad gets to come over, or that I get to call my mom, or that my mom and my sister and my family made it to Canada safely. They made a big drive today, which actually, now that I'm even saying it out loud, I didn't have anxiety about at all. I knew they would get there safe. You know, like mentally, I'm trying to repaint these thoughts instead of like living in such fear, because I think that's where all of a sudden you get too scared. You don't want to drive your car. You don't want to leave your house. You don't want to go up or down the stairs. You don't want to take your baby anywhere. And then all of a sudden you become this introvert and you have a lot of mental health issues because you fall into this like spiral of fear, right? I don't want that to happen to me. But it's very real postpartum. And if you've gone through it, if you're currently going through it, I just encourage you to talk about it. I have opened up about this to a few people. And I just try to not talk about it too much, because I know that it can also cause other people to go into the same spiral. Do you know what I mean? It's like the last thing I want to do is unburden myself onto you, and then you feel the same way. So that's why I wanted to put the trigger warning, all that stuff. So that's where I've been. Where am I headed? Well, I'm headed to some positivity. Okay. Everything else in my postpartum experience has been so blissful. Evie isn't sleeping the best. She's not sleeping the worst. She's still up. She's still a baby, but I've just found myself so much more relaxed and calm and just chilling. Everything is everything. I'm just going with the flow. And I really like to use the term baby led. Like this postpartum experience has been very baby led, like if she's hungry, I'm putting her on my boob. If she wants to sleep, I'm going to put her in her crib. If she falls asleep on me, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to wake her up. It is what it is. I'm letting her just be her, be a baby. And that's what they fucking are, like at the end of the day. And I've shared so many times with Maddox specifically, I tried to sleep train him. I tried to do all these things, and he was a preemie and I wanted to be perfect. And looking back, it was only creating a high stress environment for myself and for him, because I would just freak the fuck out over everything. And then with Archie, I kind of took a little bit of a step back, but I was still a little hyper analytical, especially because he still had to get surgery, and I wanted to make sure he was like healthy for surgery and blah, blah, blah. And then like I said, with this baby, being so healing overall, I've just been able to be like, yeah, fuck it. You know, like, nah, like, oh, she's sleeping, whatever. But people come over to see her. You know, my dad comes, my mom comes, whatever. I'm like, yeah, you can pick her up. I don't give a shit. Like, even if she's sleeping, it's not like, oh, shh. No one touch her. No one fucking look at her. You know, I'm like, I don't care. Like, pick her up. I don't give a shit. Like, she's fine, you know, and I think it's just been the best place for me to be mentally. So when everyone's, you know, oh my God, Des, you're glowing, you're thriving, it's like, yeah, I am, because I've unburdened myself of a lot of expectation, you know, and in a lot of things. And I think the past like 9 months have just been so transformative for me, from like finding out I was pregnant to now. I just feel like I've stepped into a whole different version of myself, which naturally I think we always feel when we have a kid, whether it's our first, our second, our third, our fourth. Like, you always evolve. You have to, in order to be, you know, the best mom to all of them. But also as a woman, you know, I entered my 29th year, right? I'm like 29 in 3 months now, or some shit like that. I'm going to be 30 next year. I think a lot of what I've been waiting for is finally here. And what I mean by that is like letting go and letting flow. You go through your beginning of your 20s. I mean, fuck, it's deep rooted from even being in elementary school, middle school. You want everyone to like you. It's also a very like Aries thing, very type 3 Enneagram. You want to be an achiever. You want to do all these things. And I really do believe in that. You know, I look back even my old self as a fourth grader, fifth grader. You know, I was the vice president of the class. I always wanted to be on the school news, all this shit. And it's like, look who I am now. Like, it's deep rooted, you know, but you work so hard for affirmation throughout elementary and middle school and high school, because these are the only fuckers you're stuck with. Like, you better hope they like you if you're going to be with them for 12 years, you know? And so you fight for that. And then you get in your 20s, you go off to college, new people, you want everyone to like you again. You have to find a new friend group. And then all of a sudden you become a mom. You feel like you lose all your friends, and then you kind of, in my case, learn how important your family is, and then you dive really into like those family relationships, and then your family dynamic changes, and then you're like, what the fuck? I thought my family was all like, I thought all my family liked each other, and then like, but they don't, and you didn't think that when you were 10, and here you are at 28, and you know, you get it, right? I feel like I'm speaking to all you guys right now. It's like, we're going to church today, guys, okay? But I feel like as you then, you know, age into your later 20s, early 30s and beyond, it's like, fuck it. You know, there's only so much self-development you can do to change yourself, where you're not already a version of you that is only going to get like, you know, better, or whatever you want to like paint in your head. And so for me, I'm just like, I feel like I'm just so content in where I'm at, who I am, and who I continue to strive to be. You know, you're always learning, and it takes so many different twists and turns of life, and having kids, and being postpartum, and learning the balance, and learning this about your partner, and then you, and then whatever. You're always changing. And I think evolution is so cool and so beautiful. And I look back at these older versions of myself, and I'm never embarrassed by any of them. You know, they make you who you are today. You can't look at your old self and ever be mad at them. But I look back at her, and I'm like, oh man, if only you would know like where you're at now. Like, it's crazy, girl. Like, you would be shocked. But it's so empowering. And so I think that this third baby, Evie, has just really brought that out of me, of just this full circle moment. And you know, Wyatt's, he went to the doctor, he got his referral to the urologist to go get a vasectomy. And so that's in our cards here in the next, you know, couple months. And it is hard. It's hard to start transitioning into this new chapter, which is, I've said it, but it's, instead of having babies, you're raising them. And it is hard. It's bittersweet. You know, I wish I would have taken an extra second. I think I said this last episode to, you know, take one last bump picture, or feel her kick one more time. Like, even though I did, you know, it's like, I wish I just maybe like sat in the present moment and even more, like, I don't know. And so it's sad to know that won't be there anymore. And as much as I don't want it, you can always miss it, you know? And I would not want to put my body through that again physically. I think if we choose to expand our family, it'll be in a very different way, a more unconventional manner, so to speak, or adoption or something like that, you know, if we really ever wanted to grow our family. But when I can picture myself sitting at a Christmas table, and I have my daughter, my two boys, my husband, and maybe all of them have a girlfriend, boyfriend, like something like that. And then in the future, they have grandchildren or I'm sorry, they have children, then they have a spouse. That's a big table. That's a big, comfy table. And that makes me fucking happy. You know, and they always tell you, look around. Do you want more? Who do you want at the table? You know, and I feel like I got my table, you know? And so I'm just adapting. I'm growing. I'm flowing. And, you know, postpartum, my body's never felt better. I feel like I even look better. You know, I look back at photos. I need to do a little bit more comparison. I think it'd be an interesting post. Just seeing myself postpartum, even with Archie, to now. Now, granted, my hair was a little bit different here. That's different. This stuff, but I feel like my actual recovery has just been so much better. And I would even argue that I've done less. Like I was working out probably 4 weeks postpartum with Archie, and by working out, I also just mean like strong ass mom, like lightweight arm workouts, lower body like stretching / like movement, like hip circles, shit like that, right? Not like workout, but still I was like moving a lot. I'm not moving probably nearly as much. The only movement I'm really probably getting more of is like caretaking, because all the kids are active, you know? But still, I just feel like I've recovered so much better. I look good. I truly am just like glowing. Like I look at, it's just so obvious where, you know, your mental space is during those times. And as blissful as Archie ended up coming out, there was still so much to still unpack and heal from and continue to look forward to, which was his surgery, which was just as scary and, you know, whatever. So yeah, guys, I'm fucking good. At the point of this episode, like I'm fucking good. Don't ask about me. So, let me know what you guys think. You know, let me know what you guys think about DEATH, and if you've gone through, you know, a hard loss, what are some things that have grounded you, or some affirmations that you've shared with yourself or been shared to you to like keep going? You know, I just know that there's people all the time, near and far, that go through loss, whether it's very, very close and immediate family or just loss in their life, and would love to hear some thoughts from you guys. But absolutely love you. Absolutely love you. Okay, we do have a new broadcast channel. I tested this feature out on my Not Just Another Mom account. I made a broadcast. I already forgot what I called it. I think it was like, Sarcastic Silly Sallies, I think is what I called it. And yeah, I'm just like sending memes and shit in there. And like, it's almost like a little diary entry. It's pretty cool. I didn't know what like channels were, but they're on Instagram. You have like a little tab in your message. If you go to like your messages, it says like primary, general, channels, and then like unread or something like that. And yeah, it's just like a big broadcast channel. It's fun. Like you can react to the messages. I can send whatever the fuck I want in there. It's like a separate little like community. It's like a community group chat, but like you can't really talk back. So I'm the captain now, you know. But make sure you go follow my personal account. Go shop some Petula, shop some Buff Bunny, shop Hydrojog if they're still available. And stay up to date with moi. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Short, sweet episode. I'm still just dabbling back into this, and to be very transparent, like Evie's kind of like really hard to be like asleep and then awake and asleep and awake right now. So I feel like my episodes are just a little bit more concise with the current circumstances. But if there's one thing I'm going to still do, I'm going to still show the fuck up and annoy you. Okay. So I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Happy Sunday. Let me know what you want to hear next. And hopefully we'll have Wyatt on next week.